So my video yesterday might have came across as a bit odd, and there's a good reason for that. I felt like a lost puppy who had his heart broken. I'm a fan of both of the creators in yesterday's video, so it felt a bit odd criticizing them because I can see it from both of their perspectives. However, that's not the case with today, as I'm very well aware that I do not like the guy I'm going to be talking about. So today we're going to be talking about this cave-dwelling specimen known as Ethanisonline, or peethan for those of us who have a little class. Now, I thought I was a cave dweller who barely ever leaves his room except to check if humanity is still happening outside, but this guy makes me look like fucking Bear Grylls Survivor Man with his lack of grass touching in his life. Now, I'm not one to get all political and argue topics which have no real right answers, but Ethan is willing to die on every single hill he's ever stood on, even justifying things with backward-ass manipulation tactics to try to get people to understand his point of view. Check out what he had to say about the guys who caught EDP.
And so he and his weird little cameraman are just harassing EDP and asking him a bunch of really stupid questions like, why do you do this, man? Do you know that this is bad to do?
This guy is really doing his best to make an argument for PDF files not to get harassed. This man needs to have his hard drives checked. He is seemingly coming up with any argument he can pull out of his ass to say what the PDF file catchers are doing is wrong. But just so you know, he's saying all of this because it doesn't align with his political beliefs. I get supporting all the LGBTQ groups, but please let's not pretend being a PDF file is an acceptable sexual orientation by our society's standards. And let's not even begin to normalize that shit. We have to draw a line somewhere, guys. It's fucking weird. It's some crazy times we're living in where people like this get platformed. I mean, this guy even said that PDF file catchers are in the wrong because they're the ones pretending to be underage people online. Like, he's coming up with literally anything he can to just make random arguments.
Little girl. Yeah, and he said he wanted to have sex with me. No, not me. The little girl I was pretending to be. Like, what are we doing here, man?
You have to have some kind of fucky-wucky shit going on in your brain to think some kind of stuff like that, right? But he's not always stupid and dumb. Occasionally, he does provide a good point, pointing out that Alex Rosen, the dude who exposed EDP, aka Chet Goldstein or fucking Gordon Flowers, also has said and done some questionable shit in his past.
And Alex says things like, 17-year-olds are hot, but I wouldn't do anything to them.
I wouldn't do anything with a 17-year-old,
Right.
but there's hot 17-year-olds.
Right.
But I don't go, yeah, when I see a 17-year-old, I'm just like, I can't do it.
What do you mean by that?
Now, this is obviously at surface level pretty hard to defend, right? And I'd agree. There's a few things I feel we need to take into consideration, though. Firstly, Alex's age. I know the guy looks like an actual fucking cave-dwelling caveman with the homeless beard, but he was only 20 at the time of him decoying and 21 during the time of the actual catch. And I think he's just trying to be realistic in the thought that there may be 17-year-old girls which look just like 18-year-old girls, and I think that's pretty reasonable. It's not like some kind of magic happens and the girls look different overnight. Nonetheless, he worded it poorly as fuck and it comes across horribly, and the fact that he looks like he's fucking 35 years old doesn't help, but the guy couldn't even legally drink when setting EDP up. Secondly, and I feel like this is more important and lost on most people, is that Alex tries to make these guys comfortable to open up, and I feel one of the easiest ways to do that is to try to relate to them. As disgusting as that may be, I just don't believe that this guy is filming himself say fucked up weird things relating to PDF files for the sake of the conversation. Ethan then goes on to try to further solidify that Alex is a bad person by bringing up more evidence, showing a clip where Alex is making some bad jokes about a kid being locked up in his basement.
Alex Rosen also has a very turbulent online past.
I have a 3-year-old in my basement that's like lacking vitamin D. I need to give this to her. It's my birthday, so I'm being generous for one day to her.
I don't think that's what you're supposed to say out loud.
What?
That you have somebody in your window in the
I
basement.
provide her with plenty of D, just not the vitamin part.
Oh no, that's not good either.
Oh, really?
Not if it's a child.
Well, I was tired of being a virgin, so what the
Oh,
fuck?
wow.
Yeah.
You can't make these kinds of jokes and look like this. Sorry, can't do it.
Now, I don't know if Alex is a bad person or not. I just can't say he is based on what Ethan has shown here. I've watched Alex's videos, and while I think he's doing good work, I do not think he's free from criticism. With that being said, without context, it obviously looks pretty bad. But after years of being on the fucking internet, I recognize that as some good old Call of Duty 2009 lobby humor, you know what I mean? And I, of course, would have never taken part in any of kinds of these fucking shenanigans, all right? I'm too squeaky clean. And who the fuck is Ethan to be making that kind of statement? Anyone can say that about anyone, right? Like, I can just say he looks like a candidate for being a PDF file himself, and the shit he said comes across as him sympathizing with them. It leads me to say again, check his hard drives.
Just yesterday in Georgia, we confronted a person who was out on bond for child porn charges, and we just showed up at his house with no messages, no nothing. We just had a phone number associated with an app that we know to be child porn related. And we talked to him for like 2 hours, and he admitted after he got out of...
You have an app that gives you Predator's phone number if he uses child porn, and then you found his address that way and then went to his house. Like, what is any of this technology? He won't name anything. He won't say what the app is called.
I simply cannot explain how stupid this sounds to me. This guy is criticizing him for effectively finding predators using tech, and Ethan the caveman seems absolutely stunned by this technology. It's a bit sus he wants to know the app as well. Huh? Ethan, what do you want to know for? You scared of it for some reason? I mean, my first thought when I hear shit like this is, wow, these PDF files are really just gonna get out of prison and do this shit again? And Ethan, the caveman, is just hyper fixated on which app they use and how they get caught. It's kind of weird.
So what got you into this?
Well, I'm 23 years old now. I know I look older, but, you know, seeing...
You look more mature.
Right, I look more mature. Thank you, thank you.
This man is 23 years old and spends all day pretending to be a child on the internet to talk to pedophiles.
This fucking guy lacks so much social awareness, I can't even begin to understand his levels of brain rot. He sits in his room making commentary videos, doing nothing for society at all, mocking people out here actively cleaning up the streets, some of the worst scum in existence, and he wants to act like he's some kind of better person for providing commentary, talking about bullshit on the internet. He's sitting in his room criticizing people actually doing something with their life. Like, seriously, how detached from reality can you be? So all of this stems back into my original point, that Ethan uses backward ass manipulation tactics to drive his points home. What exactly is Ethan's goal with all of this, you might ask yourself? I think it's because Alex is very outwardly right-leaning, and Ethan has made it his entire mission to shit on every single person that doesn't agree with his politics, regardless of what they do in their life to help the world. Ethan will put a spin on it to help his agenda, and it's disingenuous to say the least. It's very clear that Ethan has a bias that affects his judgment.
His Twitter is at @IFightForKids. Come on, dude. What the fuck is this? This is the child predator we're confronting right now. He did nothing wrong.
No, I get it, but I didn't read through all of these yet, and, you know, I don't want to go through every single one. I think that'd be a waste of both of our time.
He's just talking to this supposed pedophile on his recliner. He's in for tea with grandpa. Why is he, like, being so coy? Like, oh, I'm not gonna find anything in there if I look? I do think that because this guy keeps repetitively engaging these people, clearly, you can't arrest him for that. Because he wasn't talking to a little girl. He was talking to a guy pretending to be a little girl. It's not illegal, unfortunately. Playing pretend, you can't bring that into court. Dude, how are you gonna sit on the couch like that, call yourself a pedophile hunter? Sitting like this with him. He's such a bitch for posting so fucking rude about this old man after the fact, when if you watch the videos, he's talking to him like it's his literal grandpa.
This clip shows that Ethan has absolutely no idea what he's talking about. Alex got the PDF file in that video arrested. Ethan is literally just spewing propaganda. I'm surprised this guy can even find his brain cells to record himself. I have no idea how he managed to even get this far in life. And what I can say over the past year or so is that I've seen Alex make some pretty considerable improvements to his work. He's gone the extra mile of setting up his catches in a legal way with police involvement, and has gotten a lot of people arrested and has done some legit good for this world. If he botched investigations, I personally feel that with all the PDF files he's put away and all the potential kids he saved, it makes up for it. Just one child could be worth it, right? You know, I digress anyways. Is he a good person? I don't know. It's really not my place to say. However, I cannot say the same for Ethan. I don't follow him too much, but it seems every single time I hear about him, it's in some kind of negative way where he tries to further blur the lines of what's socially acceptable. Again, it's just fucking weird. So I figured I'd end the video on that note. Ethan has gotten a pretty negative response to his video, so it's nice to see the internet isn't as dumb as I thought for the most part. Ethan has tried to make himself not look as bad by declaring Alex a clout chaser, which just makes it all that more entertaining because Alex has a bigger following than fucking Ethan, further cementing the idea that Ethan is just too high to know what the fuck's going on in reality. Anyways, guys, I really appreciate a like and a sub. I know the Ethan fucking fan army is going to come over here, so if you can help me out, I'd appreciate it. I had a deep dive into some shit that I'm going to have to slam my head into the wall 5 times to forget about, but I did it for you. And with that being said, I appreciate you watching and hanging out with me. Follow me on X and Instagram and all that shit. Might as well fucking throw in Twitch. I'll put my socials in the description. Later.